Do you know why apostasy laws exist? If you know why, the next question is, do you support the repeal of apostasy laws? I believe if you were sincere, you would recognize this. First of all, I think you would say, yes, you know why apostasy laws exist. Second, yes, you support the repeal of apostasy laws. Third, you apparently disagree with Islam, and the question is why. And if you were sincere, you would recognize the truth that Islam is false. So, YouTube showed me a video, recommended a video. Uh, the thing I saw first was it says worst ex-Muslim arguments exposed. It says get over it. And then when I look further, the title says the ex-Muslim obsession with Islam. I wanted to find out more of what he's talking about. I looked at the description, read about it. I started watching it, and now I want to get into some details.
Let me tell you all a story. I used to work at this company, and I hated it.
This is the worst.
So I quit. Well, that's the end of that, right?
Wrong.
Nope! I decided to start trashing my ex-company on LinkedIn for the rest of my career. Even after joining a new company, my obsession with the old one never ended.
So he's comparing us ex-Muslims to people who leave their companies. If there were companies who had the death penalty for quitting, yeah, I think things would be different. We would have a lot of what you're describing.
Look, just watch this old video of ex-Muslims I made to see what I'm talking about.
I'm just a really scientific person.
A few moments later.
How is scientific literature a stereotype?
It was your. What are you
So the peer
sourcing
reviewed-
here? Because you have clearly believed all of the Google articles about how it was only attributed to the gay community. That's my opinion. That's it. Monkeypox was ridiculous. I'm just a really scientific person.
I don't even know what the fuck that video little bit was supposed to be saying. My guess is he cut out a bunch of shit. We don't have enough context. I have no idea what the fuck she was trying to say. And this guy is acting like we're supposed to know now.
See, I don't know if he's a liar or if he's just an idiot. But for some reason, the Christian community keeps taking notes on Islam, not from Muslims or from the Quran, but from these ex-Muslim clowns.
If you read the Quran, you will find clearly that Muhammad is above Allah himself.
Above Allah.
He's above Allah.
Yeah, someone tell this Islam expert here what Allahu Akbar means. No, not you. Allahu Akbar literally means Allah is the greatest. Nothing.
Just because one part of the Quran indicates Allah is the greatest doesn't mean another part of the Quran indicates otherwise. You remember it's full of contradictions? The fact that you can't imagine that there are contradictions or that this kind of contradiction could exist is ridiculous.
We have this propaganda that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, which is a load of utter nonsense. When you actually look at on how they do the head count, every child that is born, they head count it as a Muslim. If Christians apply that same principle, Christianity would be 4 times as big as what it is.
So there's a total of 2.382 billion Christians in the world today.
If Christians apply that same principle, Christianity would be 4 times as big.
So what I'm seeing here, and I expected this because I saw it right at the beginning of the video, actually before the video. He said the worst Muslim arguments. Why would you go after the worst Muslim arguments? Why wouldn't you go after the best Muslim arguments or ex-Muslim arguments? You're going after the worst ones. That's like the same thing people do when they make strawman arguments of people's positions so that they can easily attack it. If there's a million arguments against Islam and you go after the worst ones and you ignore all the best ones, or another way of saying, you go after the wrong ones and you ignore the correct ones, then what do you think you're doing? Or just say it another way. Why don't you answer the question? Why aren't you going after the best ones? We know why. Because you're lying through your fucking teeth.
Category number 2 ex-Muslims are outright dissenters. They have to tell everyone they meet that they have left Islam, even when nobody asked them. They present themselves as the critical thinkers.
Yes, I want everyone I meet to know I'm an ex-Muslim. Except the one that wants to chop off my head. That's the only way to ensure the best chance of helping all the people that are still living under tyranny to get out of their tyranny. The best way is to speak loudly, proudly, constantly.
If you don't need anything for God to exist, then why do we need God for the universe to exist? And I remember asking Mom that, and she said, thinking about stuff like that is fitna, because it gives a chance for the shaitan, for the devil to kind of
Play with your head.
yeah, play with your head.
You want me to accept that you studied the issues deeply before leaving Islam, but your gotcha question is, who created God? Why does the universe need God?
She doesn't need a gotcha question. She didn't say it was a gotcha question. It is not a gotcha question. We don't even know what she was asked to bring this up. She could have said 1,000 things. This could have been the least important things out of all of them. You don't know that. Or if you do, you didn't present it in the video.
The universe began. It came into existence. It cannot come into existence from nothing, because nothing cannot create anything. Allah is uncreated, because anything that is created is reliant on its creator, while Allah, by definition, is self-sufficient. Even very basic levels of research can lead you to the problem of infinite regress to address this question. Look.
This rebuttal he has, even if he was right, all it means is there's a God. It doesn't mean Allah.
Have I looked at Islam outside of the realm of Saudi Arabia, outside of Lebanon, outside of the Islamic world? Yes, I read the Quran from cover to cover numerous times. The Quran instructs women to cover.
Oh no, women have to put clothes on now.
The Quran says that
Can you not interrupt, please? Can you please not interrupt? Let her finish.
للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. Isn't that? In my opinion, it's wrong. Of course it's wrong. That's in the Quran. That's it. That's it. That's how I looked at it. The Quran is wrong.
Okay, Miss Alima. This was definitely her best verse against the Quran. Definitely top 3 since it was at the top of her head ready to go.
He's still doing the same thing. He's shooting down the weakest arguments, or trying to. And by the way, I wasn't saying she's wrong or necessarily saying any of these things are wrong. He's not going after the toughest arguments, like the death penalty for apostasy and why it is there. Slavery, pedophilia, contradictions in Islam.
You know, traditional ways of teaching religion has been because I said so, right? Because my father did so. But when you look at Islam, you're encouraged to ask questions in order to leave doubt.
I've never heard anyone with an experience of, hey, my parents or my society encouraged me to ask questions about Islam. What I've heard from everyone is when they ask questions about Islam, and if the people who are supposed to answer don't know the answer, they start saying, stop questioning, and they start saying, it's the devil that is making you question, or some bullshit like that.
I had questions on Islam, but guess what? I did research, and I found out that Islam and the Quran knocked my doubts out of the park. From the looks of these, though, it looks like you haven't done anywhere close to that level.
When you only look at the weakest arguments, let's call them wrong. When you only look at the wrong arguments, and you don't look at the strongest arguments or the correct arguments, then yeah, it's easy to do what you just said.
If true Islam is presented to them in the proper manner, I believe they will accept the truth because of their sincerity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide these people back to the truth and help them find what they are.
I believe the same thing. So my question to you all, to Muslims, do you know why there are apostasy laws? Do you know why there is the death penalty for apostasy, for leaving Islam? Because, by the way, there's no other religion that does this today. Or let me say it another way. There's no country today that has a law that provides the death penalty for leaving your religion. The only countries that do it are Islamic countries, and the only religion that you would be punished for leaving is Islam. Do you know why apostasy laws exist? If you know why, the next question is, do you support the repeal of apostasy laws? I believe if you were sincere, you would recognize this. First of all, I think you would say, yes, you know why apostasy laws exist. Second, yes, you support the repeal of apostasy laws. Third, you apparently disagree with Islam, and the question is why. And if you were sincere, you would recognize the truth that Islam is false.